PTs out there. Are there any questions on what I presented today? Andy, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. And I can unmute you. Oh, okay, you're unmuted.
Okay, on option 5, is that I guess as it pertains to all of your options, are these, have you witnessed these in action at practices, or are these just, is this in theory, I guess is what I'm asking, or has it been tested?
So Andy, I personally in my practice have not yet applied any of these, but that's not true. In our practice, we have applied this model the first few weeks of COVID-19, okay? I have spoken though to therapists around the country who have applied all of these models that I'm talking about, especially this model right here. The final model here is a model that is being applied right now by a very successful practice with more than 35 locations. And they are doing very well with the application of this model. And actually right now, we are gravitating towards the application of model 5 because it is simpler in a way compared to model number 4. If you start giving too many choices, it starts becoming messy. Another thing that you can do, of course, is that you can announce, for example, to everybody, so that everybody knows that, okay, our base salary, our base pay for PTs, whether you are out of school right now or you have 50 years of experience, our base pay is, let's say, 50,000, okay, or 40,000. Let's use the 50,000, okay? This is our base pay. However, for every 3 years of experience that you have, we are adding another $3,000 to the base pay. So if we have, let's say, someone who has 9 years of experience, they'll get a base pay of 59. But you add it in buckets of 3 years. So if somebody is in the between bracket, they get the lesser money. It's not like 1,000 a year. It's like you increase it by 3,000 every 3 years. So if a person is on year number 8, okay, they make 6,000. You follow me? Plus the 50, so they make 56. Once they get to year 9, they jump to 59. So it feels a little bit more meaningful as an increase of base. Again, this is an increase of base. And then plus, everybody gets money based on their production, based on their visits.
To me, number 5 sounds really as an option because it's incentive based, and you know it kind of cuts from the crap that if you've got people that are there just for a job, you know, as opposed to a person that's out there talking about it every time when they're not at work and getting more patients in there and trying to do everything they can because they've got a vested interest in doing so.
Yeah, and I will give you some data, okay? Some more data. I'm not writing this data. I'll just give it to you verbally. The calculation that the individual who uses this model used to determine the base pay for his practice is the following. The first thing he did was he took the range of salaries in his area, okay? So the range is from here to, let's say, here, okay? from a smaller number to a big number. So what this person did, he took the in-between number. So he went mid-range or slightly above the mid-range, either at 50% of what is the market or slightly above of what is the market for salaries. So he took that number here, let's say the 50% point or the 55% point, and he called that a base. He added to the base $3,000 for every 3 years experience that the person has. And this is now the new pay of the individual for what? For 9.5 visits per day, okay? And for anything above 9.5 visits a day, he gives the add-on pay plus the add-on pay. But he puts a restriction on the units that nobody can do less than so many units. You follow me in the practice?
Do you know what that number was?
I think it was something like 3 units. Now again, 3 units, depending on what insurance you have, right? 3 units, yeah, if it is Medicare, you require 38 minutes. But if it is not Medicare and you follow the 8-minute rule, then it can be just 24 minutes for 3 units for a non-Medicare. You see? So that's the calculation for this. Any other questions, guys? So as I told you, Andy, we are gravitating right now to implement in our organization the 5th option of the options I discussed. The last one, in other words. Any other questions?
I think it's worth mentioning too, Demi, that, you know, in a downed economy, this is a smart thing to do. But even when the economy starts flourishing again, you're better off. You're better off.
I think so too. And you're better off, and your employees can be better off also because they participate in the growth of the practice. The idea is to go through the hurdle of the initial communication and convincing that this is the model of this, and we're all together, and we have to work to maintain the viability of the practice and to grow all of us together. So the culture that you have in your practice has definitely something to do with it, but it is very possible to do it, to accomplish this. So for those of you who are on the meeting right now, and for those of you who are watching via the social media, I want to say that these town hall meetings started literally right at the beginning of this pandemic. We started hosting these meetings back in March, early March of this year. And initially, and for a while, we were hosting these meetings in a daily basis, even weekends. A bunch of weekends I spent with you guys on these meetings. And we converted to weekly town hall meetings the past a couple of months. The purpose of these meetings was, number one, to provide any pertinent information that we had for all the different things that we covered through time, to cover things about the PPP loan, the forgiveness process, to cover with information about compliance, about billing, about CDC, about OSHA regulations, about networking amongst yourselves with ideas on how you can go through this very difficult moment. We strongly believe that we have met our goal and we have fulfilled the purpose we started these meetings with. So I'm announcing that today, this is the last meeting, or as a town hall meeting of this nature, that we are going to have. I want to thank all of you who participated through time in these meetings. We have actually, I looked at the number of people who participated over time in our town hall meetings, and we have more than 616 people who participated in these town hall meetings, and I want to thank you for that. Instead, what we will be announcing, and you guys will be receiving an email about that, is the following. My business partner, Dr. Rizopoulos, and myself, in the month of August, towards the end of August, we will be we'll be releasing the publication of our new book that has to do with how to create prosperity in the physical therapy private practice. What we are planning to do ahead of time, before the publication, is that we will spend, with those of you who want, 8 meetings through which we will discuss live chapters of the book. And then, of course, we will save these meetings, and then these meetings will be able to come together to those who will buy the book. Those of you who will, of course, participate in these meetings, at the end, you're going to receive a code through which you're going to be able to get the free audiobook version of the book. Once again, I want to thank you guys all for participating in the meetings. I want to thank you for making the decision to be causative, to cause things in your environment and continue helping your employees and your patients. And thank you for everything that you do every single day. So I am just signing off then the weekly town hall meetings. Thank you all, and I love you all. Take care.